Space had always respected power. For thousands of years, every advanced civilization in the known galaxy followed one simple rule. Strength decides worth. The largest fleets ruled the stars. The richest empires bought loyalty. The oldest species controlled knowledge. And weaker worlds obeyed. It was a law so ancient that no one questioned it anymore. Then they discovered Earth. At first glance, humanity seemed ridiculous. One planet divided into nations. Thousands of languages. Constant political arguments. Borders drawn across land no one truly owned. Wars in their past. A chaos in their present. Entertainment filled with jokes, dancing, sports, and endless noise. The Galactic Council reviewed Earth for less than 17 minutes. Their decision was unanimous. Primitive. Emotionally unstable. Internally divided. No strategic threat. But one sentence in the report made the chamber laugh. Recommend first pressure test on weakest identified nation. They studied Earth's maps. They saw wealthy countries with giant militaries. They saw powerful economies and famous governments. Then they saw smaller, poorer nations. To them, the answer was obvious. Strike the weakest first. Force surrender. Watch the rest panic. That would reveal humanity's true nature. So they chose a nation many in the galaxy could barely pronounce. A place they believed no one would defend. Their silver warships descended without warning. Massive carriers blocked the sun. Cities shook beneath shadows wider than mountains. Sirens screamed through crowded streets. People ran. Phones recorded everything. Then the alien message was broadcast worldwide. Submit immediately. Your world now belongs to the Verex Dominion. Resistance is irrational. The invaders expected collapse. Instead, something strange happened. The people panicked for exactly 6 minutes. Then roads filled with volunteers. Doctors rushed to hospitals. Engineers ran to power stations. Citizens formed food lines, rescue teams, and communication centers. Mosques, churches, temples, schools, stadiums. Every building became a support hub. The Verex watched in confusion. Where was the surrender? Then the military of that weak nation responded. Old fighter jets rose first. Some outdated. Some patched together. Some technologically inferior by every known standard. The Verex commander laughed. Those museum relics are defending themselves? Then the first alien dropship exploded. Not from superior technology. From a pilot who knew his homeland better than any machine ever could. Low altitude. Mountain cover. Blind angle. Perfect strike. Then another dropship fell. Then another. Ground troops entering cities found roads blocked, bridges destroyed, signals jammed, and civilians already evacuated. Every step they took met resistance. Not always with advanced weapons. With stubbornness. With courage. With people who refused to break. The Verex were annoyed, but not worried. Deploy full suppression. That order was the moment they doomed themselves. Because Earth had been watching. At first, other nations argued. Some leaders hesitated. Some demanded caution. Some wanted negotiation. Then billions of humans saw live footage of a smaller nation standing alone beneath invasion. And something ancient woke inside the species. Old rivalries suddenly looked childish. Borders seemed temporary. Arguments felt shameful. Across the planet, one message spread in hundreds of languages. If they attack one of us, they attack all of us. Within hours, cargo planes crossed oceans. Medical ships changed course. Satellites were reassigned. Cyber units activated. Navies mobilized. Countries that distrusted each other for decades shared intelligence in real time. Enemies became allies overnight. The Verex could not understand what they were seeing. Their analysts predicted division. Instead, Earth was becoming one body. And it was angry. The first response came from orbit. Civilian satellites moved out of their normal paths. To the Verex, they seemed harmless. Weather monitors. Communication relays. Navigation systems. Commercial hardware built by a species they had dismissed. Then every one of them changed course at once. The Verex defense grid reacted too slowly. Thousands of small objects slammed into shield nodes, sensor arrays, and exposed weapon ports. No elegant formation. No military precision. Just overwhelming chaos. Human engineers had taken every machine in orbit and turned it into ammunition. The Varrock's commander stared at the damage reports. Who authorized this tactic? Earth answered with silence. Then came the cyber assault. The Varrock's had never feared hacking. No lesser species had ever broken their encrypted command systems. Human coders entered through maintenance ports, supply software, translation networks, and outdated civilian interfaces the Varrock's never considered dangerous. Within minutes, doors locked at random. Targeting systems mislabeled allies as debris. Internal maps rotated upside down. Fuel reserves displayed false numbers. Emergency alerts screamed across every deck. One alien officer shouted, "We are under attack from inside the ship." He was correct. The second wave came from sea. The Varrock's had landed near coastlines to secure population centers. They expected surrender from local navies. Instead, they found old destroyers, diesel submarines, fishing fleets, cargo vessels, and civilian boats moving together in impossible coordination. The aliens mocked them, until one harbor vanished in fire. Humans had packed autonomous boats with explosives, scrap metal, and signal decoys. The Varrock's shot the decoys. The real strike came underneath. 3 landing cruisers sank before their crews understood what was happening. Then the skies changed. Fighter aircraft from nations across Earth crossed borders without asking permission. Pilots who once trained for war against each other now flew wingtip to wingtip. American stealth jets. European multirole fighters, Asian interceptors, old airframes upgraded overnight, drones in swarms so dense they darkened radar screens. The Varrock's commander demanded an explanation. Why are they coordinating? These states are rivals. An analyst answered quietly. They were. Across Earth, factories that once made cars now built armor plating. Phone manufacturers produced drone parts. Toy companies printed components for medical kits. Universities converted labs into research centers. Gamers were recruited to drone command stations because their reaction speeds were elite. Truck drivers became supply legends. Retired veterans returned as instructors. Teenagers translated foreign broadcasts in real time. Grandparents cooked meals for volunteers. Every human had found a role. That was the mistake the galaxy always made. They thought strength meant fleets. Humans knew strength meant everyone doing something. The Varrock's launched a retaliation strike. A city was targeted. Millions waited in fear. Then missile batteries from 3 neighboring nations fired together. Intercept systems from 2 former enemies linked networks for the first time in history. Civilian telescopes provided targeting data. The alien barrage never reached the ground. Crowds in shelters erupted in cheers. Not because they were safe. Because they were no longer alone. The Galactic Council watched the war feeds in stunned silence. This was not how primitive species behaved. Primitive species fractured under pressure. Primitive species begged stronger powers for mercy. Primitive species did not unite faster than ancient empires. One council elder finally spoke. We misunderstood them. Another answered. No. We insulted them. On the battlefield, the Varrock's still had stronger ships, better armor, and superior weapons. But their greatest advantage had already collapsed. Confidence. Every hour they lost more territory. Every hour more human nations joined the counterattack. Every hour their soldiers saw something impossible. Humans helping strangers as if they were family. The Varrock's commander sent one final message to orbit. Request reinforcements. Immediate. The reply came after a long delay. No reinforcements available. He froze. What do you mean, unavailable? Because far beyond Earth's moon, dozens of Varrock supply fleets were already burning. Humanity had gone hunting. Beyond the moon, the Varrock supply convoys drifted in pieces. Cargo carriers burned without atmosphere. Escort ships spun silently through debris fields. Containers full of weapons, food, fuel, and replacement parts scattered across space like broken glass. The Varrock's commander could barely process the reports. How? The answer was humiliating. Humanity had used mining ships. Not warships. Not secret superweapons. Mining ships. For decades, humans had built rugged industrial craft to cut asteroids apart, tow heavy loads, and survive deep space accidents. They were ugly, slow, scarred by years of hard labor, and absolutely terrifying when modified for war. Mass drivers meant for or extraction became long-range cannons. Cutting lasers sliced through armor. Tow clamps crushed hull sections like paper. Reinforced frames ignored damage that would cripple elegant military vessels. The Varix escorts had laughed when they first detected them. Then the laughing stopped. One mining captain transmitted a simple message before ramming through a destroyer's flank. "You should have stayed away from our planet." Back on Earth, the invasion force was beginning to starve. Fuel shortages grounded dropships. Ammunition rationing began. Medical supplies vanished. Repair crews cannibalized damaged ships just to keep a few operational. Human intelligence noticed immediately. Then came Phase 2. Relentless pressure. No grand heroic charge. No dramatic final battle. Just constant exhaustion. Drones struck at night. Artillery hit supply dumps at dawn. Cyber teams crashed logistics systems by noon. Sabotage teams attacked communications by evening. Then it repeated. Again. 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 The Varix soldiers begged for predictable enemies. Instead, they faced humans. One moment, disciplined armies. Next moment, civilians with homemade traps. One region fought with advanced missiles. Another used mud, weather, and terrain like weapons. Every place was different. Every tactic changed. No pattern lasted long enough to counter. The Varix had conquered hundreds of worlds by studying habits. Humans changed habits the second you learned them. That frightened them more than missiles. In the council chambers, emergency debates exploded. Send reinforcements. With what fleet? Negotiate. They will demand terms. Exterminate the planet. With our forces trapped on its surface? For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council had no answer. Because Earth was not just resisting. Earth was teaching every weaker species in the galaxy something dangerous. The strong can bleed. On occupied ground, a Varix battalion entered a town believed abandoned. Doors stood open. Lights were on. Food sat warm on tables. The commander relaxed. Then every phone in the town began ringing at once. Thousands of devices. One deafening chorus. His troops panicked. Seconds later, hidden explosives shattered the street. Snipers opened fire from rooftops. Drones dropped charges through windows. The battalion was erased in under 9 minutes. Humans later named the tactic Welcome Party. The videos spread worldwide. Morale on Earth surged. Morale in Varix ranks collapsed. Then the impossible happened. A Varix officer surrendered publicly on live broadcast. He removed his command insignia, dropped his weapon, and spoke directly to every alien channel. We were told humans were divided. He looked at rescue workers from 5 nations treating wounded civilians together. We were lied to. Then he pointed toward the sky where Allied aircraft crossed overhead. No species this united can be conquered. Millions of Varix soldiers saw it. Thousands surrendered within the next day. The commander ordered executions for deserters. His own guards arrested him first. When the flagship in orbit finally lost power, human marines boarded it expecting fierce resistance. They found exhausted crews waiting in silence. One alien technician asked a human officer a question historians would repeat for generations. If your world was so divided, how did you become this strong? The officer looked through the viewport at Earth below. We argue in peace, he said. So we know how to unite in war. The end. If you would like to see the next part, please kindly leave a comment saying Part 2, and also consider liking the video. Like, subscribe, and comment if you enjoyed the story or tell me any mistakes I should fix.